Welcome to the Kiwimana Buzz. Hi everyone, this is episode 68 and you are here with Kiwimana at Kiwimana HQ, New Zealand's #1 beekeeping website for blogs, podcasts and all the latest information around the world and in our local backyard.
That's right, and this week we're talking about bee-friendly gardens, naked people, and do you want to be a beekeeper?
We are located in the hills of West Auckland, New Zealand, and today is a wonderful day out there and nice and calm, and the bees are very quiet today, just, quietly going about their business, still a bit of nectar flow on, so it's all good. And we are in the middle of autumn, and we're sort of getting everything ready for wintering down, so welcome. And listen, and thank you for coming along and enjoy.
That's right, and this is episode 68, and this is called Sick Queen Bee. Why is it called Sick Queen Bee, Dale?
Well, unfortunately, I've been unwell. I wouldn't say I'm Queen Bee, but anyway, I'm getting better, and we are putting out this podcast with this new voice that I have available to me.
That's right, and we were prompted this morning by Beekeeping Scotland. They're going, no podcast lately. My drive to work is so much less interesting without them. So thanks a lot, Beekeeping Scotland. We'll hopefully this will find you well and you can enjoy this podcast.
Yeah, and a shout out for letting us know that it does matter, and we appreciate that very much. So we're on to it today.
That's right, and the show notes for this one are kiwimana.co.nz/68. And thanks for listening to the show today, guys. It's been fantastic that you've come along today, and we know there's lots of things in the world you can be doing, and we appreciate that you're
choosing
here today.
Us. So you're choosing to join the Kiwimana Buzz.
Anyway, what's happening at Kiwimana?
Okay, Gary, let's hear what you've been up to.
Well, big thanks to Jim and Jill for their fantastic donation. That was fantastic. We put that up on the last podcast and we got a donation from them. So that was great. Thanks, Jim and Jill. Yeah,
we created a donation button for those of you who might want to help us with the work that we're doing. And it's very good to see that it's working and we really appreciate it. And we'll be able to start some new projects with this donation and we're very grateful.
Absolutely, and we're also going to be starting our Patreon account soon, aren't we?
Gary, can you tell our listeners what Patreon is? Because some may not be aware of what it is.
Yeah, Patreon is a site set up to allow content producers like ourselves to actually get support from our listeners, and people can support us per month, an amount per month that they're comfortable with, that they think their show's worth.
I think it's more importantly a place where people who are an audience or a fan of work that people do around the world, anywhere, that they can actually give them a donation or a monthly amount, that they can make a commitment to those people to help them. They don't actually have to do any work, but they can say that your work is valuable and we're willing to pay you on a monthly basis a certain amount of money, and it could simply be $1 million or just $1. Anything that will help those people with their projects and the work that they're doing.
Absolutely, and that's something we can, it'll just help us towards going towards our costs and also producing more content. I mean, what we want to do is also travel more around the country and do some interviews with people that we can meet and stuff. So, that would be fantastic if you could do that. If you want to have a look at more on that, we can have a look at our blog post, which will be on there. And that'll be kiwimana.co.nz/Patreon launch.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that because it's so exciting. And to get extra support like that will mean that we can work on those projects where we want to do more research and interviews with people and get as much information to you as our audience. And don't forget we have our free newsletter, which is a great start to be part of the Kiwimana Buzz. So, join up.
That's right. Thank you. And what else did we do? We met Bob, didn't we, from Bob Beekeeping in Melbourne?
Yeah, he flew over to New Zealand to come and meet us and other people in the beekeeping fraternity. And it was lovely to have a chat with him about some of the things that go on in Australia. And, and
he's producing a book, isn't he? The Practical Guide to Beekeeping in Australia.
Fantastic. And although Australia don't have all the same issues as us, they do have some interesting issues that they face. So it'd be interesting to hear about how he puts that together as well.
Yeah, it will be good. And we went out to had a cup of tea or coffee later on with Terry and Carleen from Earthbound Honey, and we talked about beekeeping for a lot of hours, didn't we? Until we were thrown out of the restaurant. Yes,
we had to leave. And Terry and Carleen had to go on to their next appointment, so we're really grateful they took the time out to meet with us. So awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll hopefully get Bob on the podcast as an interview in the future when he gets his book finished.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and he said he's looking forward to that too, so all round excellent. What's this other article? You're talking about extracting honey and treating bees.
Well, I've been busy extracting honey while you're away in Wellington, and you've been busy treating bees with your helper. It's been fantastic, isn't it? Fantastic help we've been getting.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to have a volunteer come and work and being a wonderful support for me. And, yeah, we've been treating the hives. We've had a bit of a break in the treatment, so we might need to extend the next lot a couple of weeks longer because of me being unwell. And catching up with the beekeeper services, which was, always hard work when you're behind, so you kind of have to deal with the new orders and the old orders, so that's all very challenging, but got through it. Hallelujah.
Yeah, and that's fantastic.
And basically the next step is getting the apiary winter down as well as the bees, so the lawns are growing really high at the moment because of the warm weather and the rain, so very exciting. And what else is planned? Well, we're going to be doing our wintering down of Kiwimana HQ as well, so we'll be working on our winter jobs and start preparing for them and a bit of a break.
Yes, hopefully. And you've been very ill with the flu, haven't you? So not much good.
No, it's been tough. It has been tough, but getting through it, and it's all good. And thanks everyone for your patience. We've been a bit slow on the orders, so we appreciate your patience. And it's been awesome that you've been sending me get well wishes. It's very appreciated, and let's move forward.
Absolutely.
So what's next, Gary?
Well, we're talking about your courses. You started your courses too, and you've met some new students. So
yes, we had a couple of courses that we were running, and they were quite quiet at this time of the year, I found. And the beekeepers that came along to this, there was a few that already had bees, so that was a bit of an interesting challenge for me to work with those who already had bees and those who didn't have bees and try and make that work together. So the feedback is that it did work and that we met their needs, and they're all moving on to the next thing. And there's some big projects that are going to be attached to that as a result, and we'll keep you posted on that because that's to do with a training program, and we're hoping that we can contribute to that as part of another project that we're working on. A lot of travel will be involved with that one, so any support or donation would be gladly received.
Absolutely. Let's go over the top blog post last month.
This one is a really good one. This is one that has been very popular and is one that we have been privileged to work with a commercial beekeeper, and he worked with us on this, and we put his method into a We work together to get it out there to help people with managing their hives. And this is an artificial swarm type method and capturing the swarm effect before you actually get queen cells. And this is a really, really good method and very successful for us.
And it's called How to Split a Beehive. It's the number one article last month. So I'm suspecting that's a lot of that traffic's from overseas.
Yeah, they'll be way into that now, won't they? Because their spring's up and running. Is it up and running, or is it just starting?
It's starting now. They've got swarms starting right now. Except we've got a video from Robin Bedard in Canada, and they've still got. He was going to have 15 inches of snow that night. This was like a couple of days ago.
Wow, that means that if their spring started, they'd be a month into their spring, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's amazing that the bees are flying around even though there's snow on the ground.
Yeah. So
tough bees, those Canadian bees.
That's the one. So we wish you guys all the best in the start of your season, and hope you have all your preparations done and dusted so that you can just get on with it and all your gear ready.
Absolutely. And the next popular post was Awesome Autumn. This is our episode 66, and we've had 929 downloads so far.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. I tell you what, that's our reward. Our reward is you guys enjoying these things that we put out there, and thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. And How to Clean Beeswax. That's another popular article, which is something we must get into. We've got all this wax to do.
That's more your bag, eh, baby?
Yeah, I do the cleaning the beeswax, and got a few people waiting for it.
He does leave traces of his work behind, I must say.
That's it. You got to leave traces behind.
All over the bench and the walls.
Yes, we had an incident once where the actual wax exploded and it went really high into the ceiling and all over my face. So it wasn't much fun.
No.
If you ever had boiling hot wax poured on your face, you'll know how bad it is.
Yes, dear.
The struggles I do.
The struggles of Gary and his beekeeping endeavours.
Anyway, let's move on to news. Kiwimana News. Beekeeping news from around the world that you can use.
And local. And here we are at Kiwimana HQ reporting the latest news.
First news from Epitherapy News. Propolis may help treat cancer. Propolis has been shown to inhibit cancer cells on many forms of cancer. Does this explain why bees are not dying of cancer? You know what? This is one article that has fit in the most amazing amount of words. Highfalutin and very very scientific. Very, very scientific paper. And I think this needs the award for the most scientific and highfalutin words that we've ever shared with you. Have you read the actual proper paper? But there's a massive paper which is like thousands of pages. Oh my goodness! I don't know if I'd have that sort of time. This is just linking to the summary of the article. But there's for those guys out there that are into science or doctors and scientists, have a look at the full thing. It's quite interesting. I mean, we already know that propolis is the glue of the hive. It's the bacterial wipe of the hive, and it's what the bees use to decorate the inside of their home. So we know that propolis is absolutely another part of what bees produce that is just so beneficial. And, you know, you can utilize this thing by putting in propolis mats and having things like that to capture a bit of that so you can make your own tonics and tinctures from it. So, yeah, read this article. It'll give you some real hope for the future for health and well-being. And absolutely. Yeah, it's all good. Yep, and propolis actually is it Latin? Because pro means protect, and polis is city. So protect the city. This is what it's named for. Wow, that is so apt. And thanks for sharing that with us, Gary. There you go. You can talk about that next time you're down the pub with your friends. Yeah, baffle them with beekeeping stuff. That's it. And propolis has been keeping people's bee suits together for many years.
Indeed.
Anyway, let's move on.
What's next? Oh, I see. Creating a bee-friendly garden.
Yes, this is a great article about how you can help the bees even if you are unable to keep bees. This could be a great link for all your friends that don't have bees yet.
This is interesting. And aside from that, we purchased a whole lot of wildflower seeds from one of our contacts, and there's going to be a donation to the cause.
Yes, that's a good cause, and we've been we must get that product page up, and we should have that up before this podcast comes out.
So watch this space for more information about the wild seed packets. And carrying on in this article, it's about creating homes for your honeybees and homes for other pollinators.
And using a bee feeder, but it says here, using sugar, never feed them honey.
Bang on. This is bang on. You should not put honey products out to the bees.
No.
Absolutely not, because you just don't know what bees may start robbing and what they may have, and then if the honey isn't from a disease-free hive, you may be spreading other things. So, very good article. I think all round, this article covers a lot of things that you need to consider.
Yep, and the next thing is provide a hydration station that provides a good source of water for them. And we've got a good one, We're made of Southern Comfort bottles.
Yeah, I think that the water source thing is that humans often put their likes on top of other things. So we say we want fresh water from a tap, nice and clean. Bees don't think the same. They want to drink out of a dirty, muddy puddle with lots of leaf litter, and the reason they do that is because there's a lot of nutrition in a muddy puddle, because there's, the
salts and stuff,
salts and minerals and all that sort of stuff that comes through into the water that feeds them more nutritiously. So this article is good, and it says top it up every day, particularly in the summer seasons. It's very important.
Absolutely. And the next thing is provide good sources of pollen, and that's to do with providing bee-friendly flowers, and it sort of ties in with our new seeds we're selling. So
absolutely,
awesome.
Yeah, and remembering that the bees will forage further afield, but if they need extra food, they will forage around your apiary, because that's their final retreat, and they'll probably forage on that at a later stage. So having some foraging food and a variety of it is absolutely bang on. That's what you need.
Absolutely. And this is a great article from fix.com. So share that around to your friends and family. It's a some good ideas in there.
Yeah, let's get gardeners and landowners on board with encouraging pollinators and giving them a good food source. So excellent article. Yep. You'll enjoy this, guys. Read that one.
Thanks, guys, for writing that. And the next one, incredible images of people drenched in honey. Waste of honey or stunning art? What do you think? These are part of Blake Little's latest project called Preserved. What do you think of these great photos? I thought they were quite cool. Waste of honey, but quite cool.
I looked at this, and when I first saw it, I thought that was a sculpture. Particularly that first one, it looks like a sculpture.
Oh, the naked lady.
Yeah, it looks like it might be from an agate or carniola, some sort of carniole type rock, and it's lovely and shiny and polished. It looks quite stunning. And then there's a comment that is in the article a bit further down that I'll find that and read that. And okay. I think that it was quite interesting. Here it says, in his foreword to the book, Kenneth Lapperton of the J. Paul Getty Museum says, he, as in Blake, was amazed by honey's transformations when dipped, dribbled and poured over the human body, and how it can distort and amplify forms, highlight physical perfection, engender repulsion, and suggest both immortality and death. So I thought that was really interesting, how I felt a bit of repulsion at some of them, but also a bit of awe, at what honey can do on a different, in a different level.
Absolutely, and we've got some feedback from you guys about this. So we've got a feedback from Pasachinink_RU from Russia, and there's a link on there to his Twitter account. He says, "What a dreadful waste of honey. Taking it to eat is one thing, but to waste, disgusting." And Marika, we know Marika, eh?
Yep.
And she said, "Sad and bizarre."
Well,
so, what do you guys think?
What do you think, Gary? You haven't said anything much.
I did. I think the photos are quite stunning, but I think they could have used something other than honey. They could have just used like sugar syrup or something and put some food colouring in it.
I think it probably, from an artist's perspective, it wouldn't have captured exactly what they were trying to find out, what honey would look like in that form. So I think that some sort of sugar syrup probably wouldn't have done the trick. It probably wouldn't have had the same constitutional makeup.
Well, let's hope they used they used the same honey in all those photos.
Well, what will happen to those people is that they will feel awesome, don't you think? They'll just feel so awesome, and they have all that honey, and, I can just see the dog just trying to clean it off, after the fact. So I think it would have been quite a fun experiment too. But
yeah, I wonder if they asked the dog if he'd mind being covered in honey.
What about the baby?
Yeah, that was a bit weird. But I noticed how they didn't show the baby's face, so I'm suspecting they didn't put honey over its face, which is good.
Yeah, I think that's right. But it did make the baby look quite cute. Anyway, what's next on that?
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. Julio, first day as a beekeeper. This is about a TV3 presenter, I understand.
Yes, Julian Lee, and this is a show in New Zealand called Campbell Live, and a reporter spent the day with a beekeeper, and it just sort of shows you what we kind of get on, what we get through during the day. It was quite interesting, eh? Yeah,
I loved the way that he had a real trouble lifting those beehives. I think that was the most interesting part, and watching his face as he went to lift it. So, that's a real trick for young players, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. So he was probably pulling a bit of Manuka honey, which goes into our next thing. Manuka trial has eye on the money. Comvita is behind a program to reuse land that can't be farmed to produce high UMF factor Manuka honey. Manuka honey. So that's backers of the trial involving high-performance Manuka trees hope to provide a credible land use alternative for farmers on marginal hill country land. Yeah, so this is good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we had a bit of a discussion about this, because there's one side of it that says, okay, let's not encourage monocultures here in New Zealand to the degree that it could harm the land. But what they're also saying further on in the article is that they are going to be introducing other natives to create a proper forest. So I like that idea. They're trying to find the most strongest UMF factor manukas and kanukas, so I think that's good. I just think that, there needs to be freedom for other beekeepers who may not want to be a part of it to continue what they need to do as well. So as long as it doesn't alienate other landowners who are doing what they are doing, then I think this is awesome. And the aim of it is to increase honey exports.
Yeah, and I think it's good that the farmers, the land they can't use for anything else, they're actually going to get a return on that land, because it's quite a good return, eh? I think they get 30% of the money they earn from the honey, so that's quite a good return, especially for land that's probably not being used for anything.
Yeah, they say that they're breeding high performance trees, which the farmers are paying for, which I understand, and they will have that product there. But I don't know about the terms and conditions that attach to all those things. So that would be in a whole other part of this work that I would have to really understand to be fully engaged in what they're looking at. But on the face of it, I think that encouraging this kind of work is going to create jobs. It's going to create some income for farmers, which will mean that they're getting diverse income. And as you say, it's on land that is marginal, which is non-productive in some senses.
But they did say that when the trees get mature after 3 or 4 years, I'll probably start running sheep and stuff on the land anyway. So it's good. No, I think it's good. Thanks, Convita, for doing that. It's awesome. Anyway, and if you're up in those areas, it's Waikato and North Island, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's Hawke's Bay is also mentioned in the article. So read that article, guys, and let us know what you think about these plans for Convita and the land for these farmers. And we'd love to hear your feedback on that.
Absolutely, and you might want to become a beekeeper, and that's the next article. So you want to be a beekeeper. This is 2 great articles about things to consider before starting beekeeping. Here's the summary. Let's talk about these, eh? Got lifting. Can you lift 11 kilograms, 25 pounds? I think that's too light. What do you think?
I think you're right, but I think that the very first thing that I would probably do, I mean, this is someone's opinion and it's a really good article. It's got all things that are of consideration. I personally think the first one is join a local club. Get to know what's going on and what is involved, and then think about what you want to get out of your bees if you do take up beekeeping. What is it you ultimately want to achieve? And then my third thing is after that is take a class that will suit where you're at. You know, if you haven't kept bees, try and have a course that's going to understand that you haven't kept bees. If you've got more experience, then look at something a bit more in depth. If you've had bees for a few seasons, then maybe go to something even more technical. But I think, start at the level where you're at and work from there.
Yeah, and the other consideration they've got here, types of hives. And I heard a rumour that you are going to write an article about types of beehives.
Well, the buzz is correct. I am putting together about how to, what is it?
Different hives in New Zealand that are available.
Yeah, what types of hives are available in New Zealand. So I'll be putting that together. And hopefully you'll find that of interest. And this article is got some good considerations, and I think it's worth a good look and a good read. And I love that photo that they've got on there. And I'm not going to say what it is, but go and have a look, guys, and I'm sure that you'll pick up which one I mean.
Mystery photo. The other thing it says here is prepare to talk to your neighbours. Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Especially in an urban environment.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, that sometimes if you tell people that you've got a hive, you become a target. And then there's the other schools of thought where you use blackmail in the form of honey to cajole your reluctant neighbours.
Honeymail. I wouldn't say blackmail.
Yeah. So, this is good. Most people do know their neighbours and would probably be able to have a chat with them.
Yeah.
So it is a consideration, and you need to decide how you want to address that. But I think these are really good and relevant tips that she's given.
Yep, and she also says read books, prepare to be bee stung, which is true, and consider startup costs and the time it takes you. And mentoring, that's kind of to do with training, isn't it? Or training or finding a local mentor.
Yeah, if you are looking into doing beekeeping, we have a really good course, even if I do say so myself, called Introduction to the World of Beekeeping. And this is for people who are looking at taking up beekeeping, but it just gives them a really good grounding for what they need. And it's a very simple and easy to understand course. So you can always email us about that, or we have it on our product page under Beekeeper Services.
And when's the next one? Because you're doing one at Rutherford High School, aren't you?
There's one starting in May.
Oh, okay.
So check out our website, guys, if you're interested in having a look at that.
Yeah, and we've even had people in Pakistan asking about it. But I'm sorry, guys, we're probably not going to Pakistan to do it.
Yeah, it's a long way, and we'd need some funds to get us over there. But then you can make a donation on our website, or you can join us on our Patreon launch and start there.
The Kiwimana Tour of Asia.
Yeah, watch the space. That'd be awesome. Anyway, what's next, Gary?
Legalities. Is your area zoned for beekeeping? Well, I think that's important. You got to know that,
Yeah, I think it is important. I think you need to know what your central government requires from you. I feel that if central government manage it in the form of biosecurity and that kind of thing, disease and pest management, I think it's very important to register your hives. In terms of local council, I have a few political views on that.
Really?
Yes, really. And none of you will be surprised about that. But I think that local government should not be charging for people to keep bees on their own private land.
Yep. So you're a libertarian. You think that we should look after our own stuff?
I don't like labels.
No. It's true.
You put a label on a jar of honey.
Indeed you do. Well, let's move on to questions from you. This is the part of the show where we have questions from you and you guys write in or ask us stuff or stop us in the street and say, Gary, how do I do this? It happens quite a lot.
Or the other one is...
Especially when you drive a car, it looks like a bee.
Indeed. Or the other one is to say, I know you. Are you from Kiwimana?
Oh, that's funny, eh?
That's awesome. We love that. That's really cool.
I know, it is cool. Anyway,
right,
the first article from Ron, how to prepare a beehive for winter.
This is a fantastic question, Ron, and we have been asked that because we are actually coming into winter, so it's a very good and relevant question for this time of the year. And Gary and I have been putting some stuff together for a blog on this, and when will that be coming out, Gary, do you think?
Oh, it'll be after this one, but soon. We might just bring it out soon and then just send a link to the people that have been asking about it. Yeah,
that's a great idea because that will...
People need it now,
yeah,
don't they?
They do. They need it now, so that's awesome. Well done.
And the key steps we've got there is assess and record what kind of frames you got in the hive.
Yeah, I think the most important point is to assess your hive as it currently is. And the way you can do that is by having an inspection sheet specifically designed for this kind of inspection. Now, the inspection is all about understanding how much brood is in the hive. And the reason to understand how much brood is in the hive is because over winter the cluster gets smaller. So you need to be able to condense all the brood together, and if you don't know what's in there, then you may split the colony unknowingly. So that's one of the key things when you're assessing is where is the brood, how much brood is there. The other thing is reducing space. So if there's empty frames or frames that haven't got anything on them, that's the next part of it. So record all that information when you're doing your assessment inspection.
Yeah, and then the first step we missed is treat the hive if you're going to treat for varroa mites.
No, I don't agree with you. I think that once you've condensed your brood, then you treat. So you assess the hive first.
Okay, then treat? And then
you assess the hive, you record all the details, and then the next step is to rearrange the hive. So you rearrange the hive, you condense all the brood together, take out any empty frames, have your honey stores sorted out, usually on the top or the honey, and maybe 1 or 2 frames on the side. But then that's the time when you can treat once you've done the confining, and then you reduce the entrance as well.
Yes, definitely. Down to about, I reckon, about an inch or 3 centimetres.
I think you're right.
And what else do we need to do? Yeah, and just I've got a diagram. There'll be a diagram in the article about this, about the way that we think's the best way to do it. And you have like the brood in the middle, you have the pollen, and then you have the honey on the outside. So we'll do an article about this coming soon. So
and there's a bit of detail going to be in there about the brood itself. So what we recommend is the best way to look at how to put those frames in.
Yep. So join our newsletter on kiwimana.co.nz/sign up, and you can be told when that comes out.
Awesome.
Next one from Justina. How do foundationless how to do foundationless frames. Well, just don't put foundation in, I guess. But,
yeah, that's one way to do it. We did that in one hive, and to reduce the brood a bit, we took a frame of brood out with eggs and stuff, and we split it into another colony and forgot to put a replacement frame. And so it had a box on top, and then the hole was on the bottom box. And what the bees did is they drew the comb all the way down from that top frame into the lower box.
Oh,
and yeah, we had to cut it out and put it into its own frame. But the bees had perfectly formed it, eh?
Is that video we've got?
Yeah, it was really awesome. So that's another way to do it. Just put a whole lot of frames in the top box and, do it that way.
Yep, exactly. And Vanessa's asking what to use for foundationless frames. And I'm thinking we didn't do this year, but we're going to try the Michael Bush idea and have a 45-degree angle, like a thing, and stick on a normal frame. So, under the top bar?
Yeah, we did try that, eh? And it wasn't that successful.
In the top bar we have, but not in the Langstriff.
Yeah, in the top bar it has a sort of a V...
Yeah.
A V strip of wood on there, and you're saying that Michael Bush says that that's a very strong way to do it, and that it not necessarily putting wax into the groove on the top of the top.
Yeah, well, his argument is that the bees can attach the wax a lot better than we can, so that's what his argument is. Well,
that's interesting. You can check out Michael Bush.
Yep, well, and look, there's an interview with Michael Bush previously. Well, he talks a bit about that, but we'll maybe give that a go next season. We've kind of run out of season now, haven't we?
So, if you want to follow up on finding out about that, you could go to Michael Bush, and Gary will put a link on there for you.
Absolutely. And the next one, we've already touched about this, but you're going to do an article. What type of beehives are available in New Zealand? So Margaret's going to do an article about that.
Yeah, that'll be one coming out, Justin, and thanks for your question. Thanks, Ron, Justina, Vanessa. These are really good questions, and we're very grateful that you've come to us, and we hope that we've given you some insights and some ideas. So let us know how you go.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions, email us at info@kiwimana.co.nz, and we'll try and answer, and if we can, we'll even write an article so other people can get the answers too.
Do you want to touch on what Justin's asking? Just a simple response?
Yep. What have you discovered so far in your studies?
Well, so far in New Zealand, the most common hive is the Langstrith hive. So that will be a basis. And then what I've done is also put a little bit of information about some other forms of hives that we have here. And also I'm going to put in about how you can buy bees. So if you're looking to get some bees in the new season, how are the ways you can get hold of bees? Okay? So look forward to that. And thanks again, Justin.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Justin. Let's move on to blog posts coming soon. Blog posts coming soon, where we talk about blog posts.
Yes,
coming soon.
Absolutely. And thanks to Scotland for getting in touch with us and letting us know that it is important and that he missed it, and looking forward to the next one. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that. That's awesome.
And thanks to Ian and the Christchurch Bee Club for sharing our podcast and telling us our last one was really good. So thanks, Ian. That's great.
Yeah, I just think that it's worthwhile.
Absolutely. And blog post coming soon. Well, I've got an interview with Solomon Parker coming up after this one. It's a podcast with Solomon Parker from the Treatment Free Beekeeping podcast.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
And we've got the how to prepare beehives for winter. And we've got what types of beehives are available in New Zealand. Plus.
Yeah, come on.
How to extract honey with no extractor and using a 2-bucket system. And there's a video for this too.
This is great. This is about Gary doing a field test about some of the ideas that have been presented and how and whether it works. So watch the space for his experiment and the results of that, and then some recommendations for using this method.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to feedback from you guys.
Wow, I love this. This is awesome. This comment says, a fine example of what a podcast should be. This is from Sneaker, 5 stars in Great Britain.
Wow, thanks, Sneaker.
I want to read this one out.
Okay.
This says, Gary and Margaret are clearly passionate about what they do and sum up an image of a couple of contented beekeepers.
Passionate.
Sharing their passion with the wider world, broadcasting from some sort of Kiwi nirvana where the gentle hum of Apis mellifera is occasionally interrupted by the sharp crack of a hive tool upon opening a super, overflowing with golden honey. It would seem that in Kiwi Mana land, everything is indeed awesome, interspersed with humour. So thanks so much, Necker, for that. Wow, that really cheered me up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Excuse
More
me.
like the sharp crack of Margaret telling me to do something. Hey.
Yeah, cheers for that, Gary. Awesome.
No, that's awesome, Snick. That paints a really amazing picture, and these kind of reviews we get really brighten up our days. And
Absolutely.
I really appreciate everyone that writes to us. And the other day we got a letter from someone in Australia, a teacher in South Australia, and it does. It makes us feel like this is actually worthwhile doing. So really thanks a lot, guys. And we've got another one. How do you read that name?
Awesome. Scuba Sarah and Tyler. So it's Scuba Sarah and Tyler.
Oh, okay.
5 stars from the United States of America.
I love the title.
What is the song?
Awesome.
Everything is awesome. Okay. Are you going to read this one, Dale?
Oh, I'll read the highlights. It's quite long, but it's good. Awesome podcast. I'm a beginner beekeeper from Willamette Valley area of Oregon, the USA. I have listened to all the episodes. Wow. And they're full of valuable information for beginner and experienced beekeepers. I like. They interview many beekeepers from around the world on their podcast where they share stories about beekeeping. Although many of the people interviewed on the podcast are expert beekeepers, they also interview beekeepers with all levels of experience, which I found particularly valuable. That's a good point, hey?
Yeah, I like that because this is quite a constructive piece of feedback. Do you want me to read the rest?
Okay.
The person being interviewed on the podcast is asked the same group of questions most of the time, regardless of who they are. I find the different answers people give to these questions very valuable and interesting. When you ask a beekeeper a question, they really just give you an answer. They tell you a story. So true. The folks at Kiwi Mana HQ are always trying to improve upon different beekeeping techniques and equipment to allow people to be more successful. Here. They test products and talk about their findings on the podcast, and if they can't find something they like, they invent their own. Thanks and keep up the good work. Well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is a really, as I said, constructive piece of feedback, and it makes us know that you know that it is of value.
It is amazing, isn't it? So thank you, Scuba, Sarah and Tyler. And it's amazing that we're recording here from the hills and the Waitakere Ranges, and people in Oregon are listening to us. So thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, yeah, fantastic. And these things, these pieces of feedback really give us a boost. So, and I haven't been that too well.
No, so I've been giving these reviews to Margaret to read, and she's been cheering her up. So
giving me a
So if you like
boost,
Yay! Boost. So if you want to review us, because it helps other beekeepers in the world find us on iTunes, you can go to kiwimana.co.nz/iTunes and you can leave a review for us. It would be fantastic.
So help us here at Kiwi Mana to spread the word and help others with their bees. We'd love it if you could please share the Kiwi Mana Buzz podcast with your Twitter followers. So we have a link there that you can click there to post a tweet.
Absolutely. And if you want to join our newsletter, it's kiwimana.co.nz/sign-up. And you can read some previous newsletters, see what we're up to.
And if you like this episode, you can head on over to iTunes and kindly leave us a rating, a review, and subscribe.
That's right. Please subscribe, because then you get the podcast straight to your iPhone or your device or your phone, or because a lot of people listen to podcasts on their phone nowadays. It's awesome. Yeah,
it is. There's so many ways to get the podcast to you. A lot of people use them in their cars, and they find it of value while they're on their way to
work and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it passes the time, because in New Zealand it's an hour to get to work.
Indeed, and a lot of cities in America, they spend a lot of time driving. So it's awesome. So thanks for listening. It's great.
Okay, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this and took something of value from it. Get back to us on info@kiwimana.co.nz if you want to give us some of your feedback. And we're signing off here at the hills of West Auckland in New Zealand, and thanking you very much. And see ya!
See ya!